So what does the war in Iran have to do with the effort to rebuild the Third Temple in Jerusalem?
Did everyone know there was an effort to rebuild the Third Temple and the foundation stone except me?
Now, Tucker, we'll get to that question in just a minute, but we've got a lot to cover for you on this special edition of Third Temple Update from Israel. So be sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on future updates. So Tucker Carlson did a video recently where he suggested that the real reason for the war in Iran is the building of the Third Temple in Jerusalem. And he is not alone in this view. Political scientist Sergei Mikheyev, who you've probably never heard of before because he publishes things in Russian, but he's been talking about this also. Sergei, who is opposed to the war, he wrote this on his Telegram channel on March 2nd. He called Israel a provocateur state and said that there is a metaphysical religious motive at play here. Quote, Iran's defeat could pave the way for the destruction of Aqsa Mosque in Jerusalem and the construction of the Third Temple. Now, Tucker Carlson put out a video on March 5th saying basically the same thing. And here's what he said.
There are key players involved in this war, the one happening tonight, who believe that what we're seeing on our television screens and on Twitter will usher in a series of events that begin with the destruction of the Dome in the Rock, Aqsa Mosque, and then the rebuilding of the Third Temple, after which the world will end. God will come back. And they mean it.
Tucker talked about this for probably around 45 minutes. It's clear that he's against the war and he's against building the temple. But look, I understand that there are some people who don't like the idea of rebuilding the temple. And that really doesn't surprise me because there are a lot of people who don't like the idea that the Jews exist at all. There are people who are really bothered philosophically, religiously, that the Jews not only survived the exile, but we've returned to the promised land. And these same people are going to be really bothered when we rebuild the temple, which we are going to do. So I understand Tucker's position, and I disagree. But he did have an interesting theory on how he thinks this might happen. I'm going to play that now.
Now, how could this play out? Very simple. Iran is sending drones and missiles into Israel right now, mostly into Tel Aviv. Is it beyond imagination that in the fog of war, maybe one of those missiles hits the Dome of the Rock, or we're told that it did?
Now, Tucker didn't mention this, but there was actually a report on February 28th that an Iranian warhead impacted less than 1 kilometer from the Dome of the Rock. Here's a video of it. The police said in a statement, if that warhead had deviated by a few hundred meters, it is very possible that a very serious hit would have occurred, especially if one of the holy places had been hit while it was full of worshipers and visitors. So since that time, the Temple Mount has been closed to all visitors, Jews and Muslims. And this is very significant because it is the Muslim month of Ramadan, when a large number of Muslims usually visit the Temple Mount. You can see here a picture of it from earlier this month before the closure, and here it is after the closure. Let's continue now with Tucker.
All of a sudden, the Aqsa complex is just vaporized. Oops, the Iranians did it. Then we have this debate. It's like a hospital bombing in Gaza. Who did it? Well, it was a booster from a Hamas rocket. Well, how do I know? I wasn't there. All we know is it's gone. Oh, so sorry. Could that happen? Oh, yeah, it could happen. The army is fighting with patches of the Third Temple on their arms, on their official uniforms.
Okay, so he brings up something else here, and that is these temple patches that are being worn by some Israeli soldiers. And this has been going on since pretty early on after the Al-Aqsa flood invasion. And Tucker seems pretty concerned about it.
It took us about 2 minutes on the internet to find this today. Here is a selection of IDF soldiers. Let's put it on the screen. There you go. And all of them have the same patch. Look familiar. Look carefully at that. What is that? That's the temple. That is the third temple.
The Tucker has kind of a ridiculous theory about where these patches are coming from. I don't know. It's a big mystery, Tucker. Who could possibly be distributing temple patches to soldiers? Oh well. So, are Sergei Mikhev and Tucker Carlson correct? Could Iran's defeat pave the way for the construction of the third temple? Well, many of the Iranian leaders who sought to destroy Israel have now themselves been destroyed. And right before Purim, no less. Purim, of course, is the Jewish holiday written about in the book of Esther. A lot of people don't realize that the whole backstory of the book of Esther has to do with these different Iranian kings and the return of Jews from exile to build the second temple. Mordecai, one of the heroes of the book of Esther, is actually listed in the book of Ezra as one of the Jews who returned to Israel to build the temple. Now, the exiled Iranian crown prince Reza Pahlavi often speaks fondly of the temple in Jerusalem.
My compatriots are proud of their history, a history that dates back 2,500 years when Cyrus the Great helped free Jewish slaves and help rebuild their temples. It's a biblical relationship that our two countries have had over centuries.
I actually did a whole video a few weeks ago on Pahlavi's statements about Israel and the temple. If you missed it, be sure you go check it out. New leadership in Iran could create an environment much more friendly to the building of the third temple. But ultimately, the desire to rebuild the temple must come not from the Iranians, but from the people of Israel. You've got to see this incredible study that came out in February. Al-Azhar Observatory warns of sharp decline in Al-Aqsa worshippers. I think this is an Egyptian organization, the Al-Azhar Observatory for Combating Extremism, has warned of a sharp decline in Muslim worshippers at Al-Aqsa Mosque, saying attendance has fallen by nearly half over the past 17 years, while the number of Israeli settlers entering the compound has increased 11-fold. So it's really interesting that not only are we seeing an increase in Jewish worshipers on the Temple Mount, but we're also seeing a decrease in Muslim worshipers. Why do you think that is? Why don't you let me know down in the comments? And don't forget to subscribe, because if you want to stay updated, this is the place.